Pittsburgh Steelers fans, boy, we're having some technical difficulties here today because, yes, welcome back to another episode of the Scho Bro Show. This is Steel Curtain Editor Dave Schofield coming at you on a Tuesday night. It's late. I don't know where else you'd rather be, but with me as always is my big brother, Rich. Rich, how's it going tonight?
I'm sorry to bring this out to you, Steeler fans, but I think right now we don't have a lot of choice. We have to embrace the suck.
Yeah, we have to embrace the suck. Kind of like the beginning of this show. You know what? It said here that I still had a go live button.
Yes, I almost came on and said, Dave, you want me to hit the go live button? And then it kicked on at 26 seconds.
I know. And I'm like, I'd started the music, but I stopped it because my go live went away. So for those of you that are here live, you're dealing with that. For those of you in the audio form, guess what? You should have no problem with everything. It's just
edit.
Yep. So we'll get the music fixed in the beginning of that anyway. So for everyone else, I hope you're here and joining us. Sorry that there was that long pause at the beginning, but not exactly sure what happened. But I hope everyone can hear me and everything's all good there. Rich, we haven't talked since the last game. Seems like forever ago. It really does. And I tell you what,
just having to sit through that game felt like forever.
Well, that's true too. But it's, how do I say it? The mini buy, Jeff Hartman said this before. The mini buy is a really nice thing when you're coming off of a win. When you're coming off of a loss, not so much. So, I mean, the Steelers had it earlier and everything that they came off the win. This time, not so much. Not so much. And it's really disheartening that when the Pittsburgh Steelers are currently sitting in the playoffs, if they were to start this week, and only 4 games remaining, which is where you kind of want to go, where you want to be going into that last quarter of the season, but yet to feel like, man, this team, can they even win another game? It feels like.
Playoffs?
Yeah.
Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yeah, that is the last thing on my mind right now. You know what's on my mind right now?
What's that?
Can the Steelers win another game this season?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
if it's the team we saw the last 2 weeks, I don't know if that's possible.
Well, and it's really, what's frustrating is this. If you look at both of those games, you can pinpoint just 1 or 2 things here or there, and they both are ugly wins. It wasn't, even though they lost 2 games ago, 24-10, they really weren't that far away. I mean, my goodness, it seems like everything's changed since the third down scramble. Kenny Pickett gets knocked out of the game and out for several weeks. And it's just kind of been fighting ever since. But I will say this. Should 18 points have been enough for the Steelers to beat the New England Patriots?
It could have been, but see, what it does is it points out the issue that I have right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. And I don't know. I don't know how much I should say, because some of this I feel like I'd be giving away some of my worthless 2 cents article that comes out tomorrow.
So you're giving away some of your worthless too.
But the issue is with this Steelers team, the way it is currently constructed and run, the defense does not get the luxury of starting slow or not understanding what's coming their way and having to adjust to it.
Yeah.
Because that's what we saw against the Patriots. The Steelers got caught off guard defensively. They went in at halftime. They made the adjustments. They shut the Patriots down in the second half. Okay. the Steelers offensively come out, have no answer for what a team's doing on defense. They go in at halftime. They don't make any adjustments. Typically, they come out, they still have no clue for the entire second half, and the Steelers can't win.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
this team in a nutshell. If the defense plays lights out from opening kickoff till the final buzzer, the team has a chance to win. But if the defense doesn't do that, those chances go way down.
Yeah, and honestly, once the Steelers just realize, you know what, Landon Roberts, I know you're hurting. We're going to have to play as long as we can, as much as we can, rather than try to keep you off the field. Because when he wasn't out there, it made a big difference. The Steelers just they couldn't get the stops, and like Coach Tomlin said, even on the turnover and giving the ball like the 11 or 12-yard line, just one of those 3 drives, if the Steelers hold them to 3 instead of 7, it's a whole different ballgame. One of those 3. And how many times have we seen the Steelers defense bend but not break? I mean, honestly, giving up three touchdowns. I mean, they gave up 3 touchdowns the week before. But you have to go back quite a while before that to say, when was the last time the Steelers gave up 3 touchdowns? You know, that's what got them this last 2 weeks. Now, it's funny because you're like, oh, well, should you really put the fault on the defense? No, the thing is, the offense is what the offense is, right? The offense is what the offense is. They are not an offense that's going to win you the game unless the defense can keep the other team from really getting going. The defense is the strength of it. So when you look at it, for example, here we go. Steelers gave up 21 against the Patriots, 24 against the Cardinals. There was 3 touchdowns each of those games. 10 against the Bengals, 1 touchdown. 13 against the Browns, 1 touchdown. 19 against the Packers. I can't remember the exact breakdown of that, but I'm pretty sure. Was that 3 touchdowns? I can't remember. Now I'm going to have to click on it, and that game seems forever ago. I don't know about you, because they missed a kick and they kicked field goals. Yeah. Okay. So it was 2 touchdowns and the missed kick and everything else. So then the Titans 16 points. Obviously, that wasn't. Man, what happened here? That wasn't 3 touchdowns. Going back even more, sorry, it skipped on me. 20 points against the Jaguars. That wasn't 3 touchdowns. 17 points against the Rams. 10 points against the Ravens. The last time they gave up 30 points, 3 touchdowns, was against the Texans. And they gave it up to the Cardinals and the Patriots. So yes, there's a lot of problems with the offense, but at the same time, what the Steelers were really riding, the defense just cooled down a little bit.
Cooled down. They're beat to pieces.
Yeah. Well, they got Minkah Fitzpatrick back, and as I was saying, it almost seemed like they played better without him, not because of him, but because of how they're using him.
Well, not just that, but I'm sorry. We're so beat up at inside linebacker that I just don't see how they're even beginning to hold it together there. You've got both TJ and Alex Highsmith now playing dinged up. I know Cam came off his injury, but how is he really 100%? It's just the defense is banged up and the offense is awful.
That's pretty much a good way to sum it up. And in the heart of your Worthless 2 Cents article, for those of you that have never checked this out, you should go to steelcurtnetwork.com. It'll be available tomorrow. It's usually around 11 a.m. is when that one comes out. Rich kind of after doing the knee jerk reaction, he comes back with this article about something that he's changed, kind of thinks differently about something, in a good. I'm going to mix it up. You explain it.
Something I feel strongly about. Something I've softened on,
okay,
and something that hasn't changed.
Something that haven't changed. Okay, you know what? Something that I've softened on. In the heart, looking at the heart of what you're doing, something I've softened on.
Okay, go ahead.
A huge, how do I say it? A huge overhaul in the offensive coaching staff. Because
thanks for stealing my softened on for tomorrow.
Oh, no, that's not what you did, was it? That wasn't what you did for tomorrow.
Yes,
was
it is. Yes.
Ah! Well,
do you know want to know why?
Because I didn't edit. But you know why? Because you're right. Because you're right.
It was the only thing I could think of.
Yeah.
Because really, I am so frustrated and so upset at this team right now.
Well, Rich,
and it's those frustrations that made me think, well, gee whiz, was it necessary? What? Yeah, that's what I'm starting to question now. Was it necessary? Everybody, I'm not saying that it wasn't necessary, but I'm saying, was it? Because did we get the results we were hoping for after it happened? And the answer so far
moving on from the offensive coordinator?
Yes.
Well, I said this even last year and earlier on in the season when the chants are going at hockey games and everything else. My point was, I don't think it's going to be much better. Jeffrey Benedict, before he stepped away, when people were calling about it with last year, and Mike Sullivan, he's like, he was not a good play caller. He wasn't. He's done it before, but it's not that he's done it well. So it's not like I thought that the Steelers had an answer that they were going to be able to step right in and instantly be better. It's just, I felt from a kid, the reason that Matt Canada moving on from him was a good idea is because I felt the chemistry between him, the other coaches, the players, all that was just bringing everybody down, and it wasn't worth it. It's not that I really thought it would be better. Now, it showed up, and it was a little bit better the first game, but it could have maybe been with the tape, not have several tape. But I didn't expect that they had great answers other than having Matt Canada.
What I feel has happened was when Matt Canada was let go, you get the first game against Cincinnati, and the offense played better. I think the offense played better because the players were happy. And I think, honestly, on offense, they gave better effort. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What makes me sad is that only lasted 1 week.
Well, honestly, I really think the comments of Jalen Warren, Deontay Johnson about, maybe we took them too lately. We could have done the same title again this week that we had last week, which was they aren't who they thought they were. That the Steelers' offense was not miraculously a great offense once Matt Canada was gone. You didn't suddenly have a great playbook. You didn't suddenly have all pro players. You could not let off the gas. That was when you needed to dig in and work harder. And when you get people like Minkah Fitzpatrick talking about you can't just put on this uniform and expect to be good. You've got to work at it day in, day out, all these other things. I feel like the offense thought the players. This is the feeling I'm getting. I don't have inside information on this. The feeling I get is that the players thought all their problems were Matt Canada. Matt Canada was gone. They came out, they put up more yards, and then all of a sudden they were complacent saying, good, we can be good now. No, you can't. You still got to work your tail off. And I think we're seeing it now. I don't know if that could have carried some to the defense. I think with the defense, it could be just as much the injuries and everything else. But maybe there was just an attitude of, because honestly, I think Matt Canada was sucking the life out of this team. I think Matt Canada both sides of the ball was sucking the life out of this team. And the Steelers had to let him go. And they did. And then they felt that they could breathe again. And they felt this burden lifted off, almost like the Steelers were ready to sit back, prop up their feet, get their umbrella drink, sit on the beach, and be like, this is how it's supposed to be. No, you had a better chance now that you have that burden lifted. But that was the time that you had to dig in and work harder and get and dig in, do what you needed to do then. Tighten things up. If you recall, I said I expected there to be some problems on the offense that first game. I expected them to have issues maybe getting the play in and having to use a timeout. Maybe have a bad alignment where they get penalized. Maybe, have some things not quite click offensively that first game. They were fine. It happened the next two.
Yeah.
It's like they came in and put in the effort and had the mental focus, knowing that it was a change. It's almost like the Steelers eased up. It's almost like they took their foot off the gas. You had that momentum and all that from the coordinator. I mean, chime in, take over for me if you will.
Well, I was just going to say, thank God for Minkah Fitzpatrick. It was
Mm-hmm.
nice to hear a veteran leader on the team say what I think needed to be said. And it was nice to hear it from someone other than Cam Hayward.
Yeah.
Because Cam could have said that just as easily as Minkah, but I think there are probably guys on that team that are just like, oh, there's old man Hayward, Not going to hear that. At least Minka's a little, little younger, a little different voice. I don't know. Just we're going to find out who's got what for the Steelers over these next couple weeks, because it's going to become blatantly obvious who's willing to do the work. As Minkah said, who's willing to toil and who's not. So, the guy.
When you paused, I thought there was more to that sentence.
No, it's just, I think it's going to become evident based on what you see from players. There are some guys that obviously need to pick it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to pick on all the wide receivers. They need to pick it up a little bit. That is
another one I want to bring up. Mark Tobin said, how much harder does a guy running open have to work? I mean, am I missing something? You're really missing something, Mark. Listen to KT Smith. He was doing some breakdowns. Rich is going to talk about this. It's been bad, hasn't it?
Yeah, guys, if they don't think the ball's coming their way, they're not running routes. They're not blocking. They're walking off the line of scrimmage. Honestly, they're see plenty of routes where guys are going about half speed. It's like, if you're not going to play at 100% every play, get off the field.
Yeah,
because there's going to be a guy out there that's willing to play 100% every play.
Yeah,
I'd rather have a guy.
It was bad. It was really bad.
I'd rather have a guy playing 100% who's not as talented over a guy who I never know what we're going to get on the next snap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, KT Smith, I can't remember if it was on, here we go, the Scho Show, or if it was when he was a guest on Let's Ride on Monday. I can't remember which show it was, but he was talking about, even Pat Freiermuth on that interception, he just assumed because of the coverage, the ball wasn't coming his way. He just kind of gave up on the play.
Yep.
Now, the ball shouldn't have gone his way, but it did. And because he gave up on the play, it probably would have been an interception anyway, but it's just not a good look. The effort of the eligibles, that was pretty bad.
Yep.
So
that stuff I'm going to be watching over the next few games. Who wants to be here? Who wants to put on the black and gold? And you know what? Oh, and I'm like this. Oh,
Mhm.
see, this would be me. There's not if you're currently a guy that sees plenty of rotation time, if you're not doing it, you sit. And we're not cutting you later. You can stay on the team. You sure go ahead. Stay on the team, collect your paycheck, and you sit and just waste your career. Go ahead.
Mhm. Yeah.
You'll go from playing, 40 snaps a game to 6.
Yeah. Hey, here's another comment I want to bring up. Afton Ford said this. I'm going to agree with this mostly. She says one thing is for sure: Tomlin doesn't have to tell any of these guys whoa. I would say as a whole that is very true. There are a few guys in there that you would still maybe have to say, well, they're just because even one unit as a whole isn't giving it the way they should doesn't mean that there aren't at least a few individuals laying it all out on the line. So, but they are but you're right, After they're not easy to find either. So it's just, and it's so frustrating because the question is this: with this extra time off, this is a really good time for the Steelers to have it. And I know some people complained when the game was on Saturday and not Sunday. Oh, they're losing a day from their mini bye. No, this was a perfect time to bump it up Saturday because now next week you get a full week. So you don't have a short week anymore. You just had one less day on your extended time off. After those two performances, is this Steelers team going to come out as a different team doing those kind of things that they need to do that we're talking about, or are we going to get more of the same? That's the $1 million question that we're going to not get answered until Saturday.
If you ask me what I'm guessing,
Mm-hmm.
more of the same. And I
So you're
hate
guessing,
to say it.
Yeah.
I think we get more of the same. I do.
Yeah. And it's funny because Coach Tomlin's like, we'll bounce back. And then they're like, well, why are you certain you'll bounce back? Because it's what we do. Is it? Because even you admit, Coach, that every year it's a different team. So you don't like to compare past to present. It's what teams that you have coached generally does. But I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you read my one article over the weekend.
It's not that team.
Yeah. I don't know if you've read my one article over the weekend. You know who I think the Steelers are really missing when it comes to, because the question is the message stale or players buying in, what's going on? Someone who I just had a feeling based on who he was held so much of this together that the Steelers don't have anymore is John Mitchell.
Yep. I read that article and I agreed.
I mean, how much respect does he get? I mean, he broke the color barrier at Alabama. I mean, my goodness. And he's been there, done that. And he was, the assistant head coach. And I just think he was someone that helped bring, Tomlin's message, bring it to the players, bring everything in. I have no inside feeling or knowledge of this other than that's how I feel from where I heard Coach Mitchell talk and hear players talk about him. That's just something that they're missing that they had since 1993. So I just don't know if this is a team that's going to rise to the occasion. And I've been talking about it all season, Rich. We've been talking about it. Is the whole idea of the Steelers were putting themselves in a much better position than last year to where they could get on a roll late in the season and actually make the postseason and see if they can do something. What's happened is we've never got the roll. We never got the roll.
Correct. This team has not changed at all from the first 3 weeks of the season. It's the same team.
But they had their opportunity was set up for them. Two games against teams that only had 2 wins each. Then you get a mini bye. So then you could get the record going, you could get a streak going, and you could roll. And they laid an egg 2 weeks in a row. It's almost like the Steelers have to have their back completely up against the wall before they'll kick themselves in the butt and get moving.
I'm frustrated. You got super chats. Let's get to super chats before we take a break.
Okay, well this one is going to be interesting because I saw something with a comment with this in there earlier. Thoughts on Patriots' decision with Bill Belichick? What decision? I'm literally looking at my news right now from any reliable source, and there is nothing about any decision with Bill Belichick and from a reliable source. I mean, maybe you got duped by someone who pays for a check mark that is a fake account. I've got nothing. You have anything?
Got nothing. No, got nothing.
Yeah, nothing. So there's, as far as I'm concerned, fake news. No idea what you're talking about. You know, that as of right now, there's no story that I know of. So let's move to the next one. Sorry, but thanks for the $2, Bradley Stone. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that's coming from. But here, Steel Dog 88 gives $5 into the tip jar. Says, do you think the players would have more motivation with Rudolph over Trubisky? Just curious. These are professional football players. They should have motivation to go out there and do their best regardless. Now, are you saying do they have more faith in them? I could see what you're saying,
right? Without being in the locker room, I couldn't even come close to being able to tell you if that would be the case or not. Yeah. Could be more, could be less.
Yeah,
I don't know. You would have to be around the team to know that.
Yeah.
And around the team doesn't even mean in the stadium while they're playing. That means, around the team.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, players should be motivated themselves just to go out there and, make sure they're earning their paycheck because it could go away in an instant. But yeah, you could have more confidence in somebody out there. You could have that spark that they talk about. And my goodness, see, and this is part of the reason why I said that I've softened on the idea of kind of overhauling the Steelers' offensive coaching staff is just look at the number of backup quarterbacks around the league and the performances on Sunday. I watched a lot of football on Sunday, and just that they're put in positions to succeed. I feel like I don't know that it would matter who was playing quarterback for the Steelers, even players from other places around the league coming in there, that I don't know that they would succeed the way it's set up. I really don't know. And unless you have a true offensive coordinator who is given the reins to the offense completely and having position coaches to build in the way to buy into this, to the way they want to do things, it just doesn't seem what the Steelers are doing offensively is an NFL offense.
No, and it's not, because for me, it's like I look at what other teams do. I look at their route combinations, their overall offensive concepts, and I just look at the Steelers and think, what is this?
Yeah.
It looks like Friday night football, not Sunday afternoon football. So,
yeah. Yep. So we got some people chiming in about the reports around there of where.
Yeah, I flipped over to see where they were saying it over at SB Nation. Just for the record, the guy who's reporting that over on SB Nation is not related to us.
Oh.
He has the same last name, but he is not related to us.
But people have been speculating about him being done at the end of the season for weeks. There's
apparently
nothing
somebody
new.
from NBC out of Boston is saying that, the loss in Germany was the last straw for Kraft. I'm like,
how long ago
if
was
it's
that?
not being picked up by it, if you're kind of think you're getting a scoop on that as a person up around Boston and nobody nationally is picking up on that, chances are I'm not believing it yet.
Yeah.
So,
and honestly, I don't really care. I'm worried about the Steelers playing the Colts on
That's
Saturday.
right.
So really, yeah, because I'm still sitting here trying to get any kind of news. For those of you that are wondering, because I know some people don't like the. It's funny because I refuse to update my app, so I still have a little blue bird at the top of it. I don't know if that's because I haven't updated it or not. But for those of you that like, oh, it's so terrible there because you can't tell what's real and what's not. I make a list. I have a list of only trusted. People, and if it's not on my list, someone on my list would have to get duped into something. Because if it's not on, I don't get advertisements. I don't get any other stuff of people that I don't follow. I only get that, and it works great. Highly recommend doing that because then I don't get these other, what's really going on stories and things of that nature. I'd much rather know what's going on with the Penguins game. Because they finally won one again, which was really nice. But Rich, let's go ahead and take a break. We're going to come back. Let's talk a couple specifics from this past week and things that, maybe going forward and roll into Saturday. We're just kind of talking about the state of the Steelers right now. I know this isn't the State of the Steelers podcast. Shout out to Daniel J. But we're just kind of talking about what's going on. So if you're with us here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter and had to wait forever until the show started because of our little glitch at the beginning, we're not going anywhere. If you're with us on the audio, stick around. We'll be right back. All right, Steelers fans. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward. That it just seems strange that this team didn't fall out the way they should have over the last 2 weeks, losing those two games. They moved back one spot in the rankings.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened.
But my goodness, just think if they wouldn't have done that, we still would have been talking about the AFC North title.
Yes. Because we could have still been at the, hey, win out and win the title.
Yeah. But now it's win out and hold your spots. And you know what? And that is what it is. I had another article, I think it ran yesterday on Monday. I can't remember, but one thing I was kind of trying to debunk the whole notion that some people have that the Steelers have all this talent on offense that they're wasting. And I just don't see it. It's not that they're bad. To me, the Steelers offense, what they can be is the whole Mike Tomlin, the strength of the pack is the pack. You don't have a superstar. You just have to go out there and can rely on everybody. But my point is I referenced back to last year how I thought, if the Steelers and Eagles combined, are you going to have any Steelers starters, especially on offense? But what I decided to do was, I don't know if you check this out. I did an all AFC North team for offense, just starters, 11 personnel, meaning one running back, one tight end, 3 wide receivers. And I did the all AFC North, including players that are injured, who I believe were the best players. I had no Steelers.
Okay.
I had none.
Not
Technically, I had 12 names because I wasn't going to get into a debate of if it should be Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow as the quarterback. Bottom line is, it wasn't a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I went there. I went Chubb as the running back. Andrews as the tight end. The closest thing you're getting is probably Fairmouth is the second best tight end if you're running a 2 tight end set.
Yep.
You could now make an argument maybe for Njoku, but I still say Fairmouth. You could say, honestly, believe it or not, the Steelers guards weren't that far out of the picture.
I was going to say,
the AFC North is kind of loaded at guard.
When you were sitting there saying, I'm sitting there thinking, well, let's see, if you ask me the strength of the Steelers offense, the 2 players I could say are the guards.
Yeah. But the thing is, look at the other guards in the AFC North. The Browns got 2 Pro Bowlers. The Ravens got and Zeitler is a good guard. I had all that. Like I even had both the Steelers guys ahead of Batonio this year, based on some of the stuff I was trying to look and read and everything else. That both Sam Malo and Daniels are neck and neck, but they were the next 2 after. I think I had who is it? Wyatt Teller and Zeitler as the 2 guards. But then what's interesting is, man, center in the AFC North. That's way down across the board. I went ahead and gave it to Linderbaum, but that was probably a mistake. The Brown center is all right, but nothing really for anyone to, then you got Karras in Cincy. And I'm like, bottom line is those guys aren't that great, but they're all better than Mason Cole.
Yeah.
And center is a big need for the Steelers going into next year. And then when you look at the tackles, there's just too many other tackles. I'm like, and Broderick Jones just doesn't have the. I don't think he has the starch yet enough so far in his rookie season to really knock off one of the other ones. But that was my point: is that it's not like the Steelers have all this star power that they're wasting away on offense. If they're wasting away star power, they're wasting it on defense. But that's also the strength of the team. So I don't get how the Steelers offense could believe that they could even take anyone like.
I don't want to say that they're wasting star power on offense, but this year we've wasted what we have on offense. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, George Pickens could maybe be one of the best wide receivers.
And part of that is scheme.
Yeah.
And part of that is effort. And as we talked earlier in the show, I think offensively there's a lot of blame to go around as to what the issues are. But I don't want to say that you've wasted great talent on offense, but what talent you have has been wasted.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said,
we've not hit on all cylinders.
Would be better than Mark Andrews, but if they had look at how little he was used until Matt Canada was let go.
Right.
I mean,
it's like,
and they're asking him to block when that's not his strong suit. It's just
It's okay. This might be a terrible analogy, but I'm going to give it anyway. So it's like the Steelers' offense is not hitting on all cylinders. Okay. Even if the Steelers' offense is hitting on all cylinders, it's a 6-cylinder compared to an 8-cylinder that other teams have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're not even hitting to your 6 cylinders, ouch.
Yeah. There's something that you talked about, and it got me thinking the whole time, and it was in your knee-jerk reaction article. And you said that the Steelers' offense needs to realize they can get first downs on other downs other than third down.
Yep.
That was so true. That was so true. It seemed like the goal. Every play, first down, you want to get you want to get 4 or 5 yards. Second down, you want to get, if you don't get the 4 or 5, you've really got to try to get 6 or 7. But if you got the 4 or 5 there, then you do something to try to get another 3. So that way you have a nice manageable third down.
Every set of downs is try to get to 3rd and 3 or less. And it's like, okay, but what happens if we could just go and not get the third down? Our third down conversion rates are so terrible. Yeah. Well, you know what would help them? Quit going to third down.
Yeah. Now, I was, frustrated from the week before because it seemed like every time they got a really nice gain on first down, they wanted to take a big shot on second down, which worked once, but didn't always work the rest of them. And then they had to turn around and pass. I'm like, just run and get it. It's okay. I mean, it doesn't feel like the goal of second down is to get the first down. It just seems like one's a setup for the next and the setup for the next. And the problem is when you don't have good field position, you have to do so much, and you can't mess up at all. You can't have a penalty. You can't have a negative play. It's just going to kill a drive. And to have to use all 3 downs in order to get 10 yards it's really hard to maintain a drive to actually put it in the touchdown zone, let alone get in field goal range.
Yes, and that's the frustration.
Yeah.
You know, on that 2nd and 3 or 2nd and 4 that the Steelers have been getting to. You know, you say you get frustrated when then it's like they use that to take a shot at a big play. Don't take a shot at a big, just run a play.
Yeah.
You know, get what's a big play? Okay, you don't have to take the deep shot, but man, take 12 yards. If you can run a play and get 12 yards on 2nd and 4, like that's a win.
See, and another thing that has me frustrated is this. I understand you got to mix things up. That you don't want to just make it, you can't make it so obvious what you're doing. But this is why I feel like it's the anti-Mac candidate. Anything that you got to work against what teams are thinking. To me, where they struggled with this past game was their receivers of choice in given situations. Okay, George Pickens, you throw to it, you get 7 yards on first down. Or 6 or 7. And so it's 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, one of those things. And you throw it to Pickens behind the line of scrimmage. Is George Pickens a guy that you think of that's going to catch the ball from a standstill and he's going to just make everybody miss?
No.
That's not George Pickens. George Pickens is a guy that turns 50-50 balls into 80-20 balls. That's who he is. And he'll catch the ball on the run and go. But throwing the behind the line of scrimmage wide receiver screen to him, I don't think that makes sense. Honestly, we could talk about it being on 4th down, which we probably will too. They took their deep shot at the end with Deontay Johnson. Now, it's not like you can't take a deep shot to Deontay Johnson ever because they've done it before and it's paid off. But honestly, if you get identical coverage on both sides and you basically got a one-on-one, I'm throwing it to Pickens 9 out of 10 times. Because he doesn't have to be as open. Deontay Johnson, what's his strength? He gets open. Okay. Throwing him a 50-50 ball, he's not even the best. We know he's not the best pass catcher there is. But yet Pickens will pull down crazy catches. I don't understand why the deep shot went to Deontay on that one. I just think if you have one play to stay in the game, that's not, well, let's mix it up and throw it to a different receiver that you wouldn't expect to be doing that route. To me, George Pickens is your best receiver that's going to go up and catch the ball even when he's covered. You're going to have to stop him. I would take that play. Now, the way Coach Tomlin described did you listen to the press conference yesterday?
I've wanted nothing to do with anything Steelers.
I got you. Well, they asked him about going deep on 4th and 2. And he talked about the notion, you got a look for a certain thing, and we're out there to play to win. And his other thing was this was very results driven, which I've said in the past as well. But his example stuck. He said late in the game when we threw it deep to Pickens against Baltimore, no one had a problem with it because we caught the ball. That was on 2nd down, Coach.
Yep, not 4th.
And you could come back, and if it didn't work, you came back, you had another shot to get a first down. You were in field goal range in a game you were, trailing by a field goal at the time or something, I believe. Yep. So that was one thing. You've got one timeout, probably won't get the ball back, one play to get 2 yards, and you're going to throw it down the field 30 yards to a guy that's not known for having the best hands, but is just known for getting open, and he wasn't. And that's who you take the shot to. So,
yeah.
And there was who was, I don't even know who it was, the receiver that was open short. They ran a rubber. It was Allen Robinson.
It was Robinson. Yep.
So, but I mean, later they took a deeper shot with Robinson earlier in the game, which I'm like, is that really? But I mean, I'm not saying that you can't do that ever, but it just seemed kind of strange. It seemed kind of forced. And it was for, and don't even get started on Miles Boykin. Miles Boykin is a fantastic blocker. But if you're going to run the ball every time he's in the game, it doesn't help. I think they ran one play that was a pass play when Boykin was in the game last week. 1.
Yep. Telegraph.
Yeah.
We'll just telegraph it.
Yeah. So, and it's so interesting. And people are like, oh, well, the quarterback isn't good. You know, I see people put in there. The one guy who always likes to comment on YouTube is actually the live chat in here that just makes up crazy crap about quarterbacks. I said it before. I don't know that the quarterback. So I'll ask you: do you think that the Steelers system and the way that, and they're even just their philosophy, their system, everything about it is really conducive for any kind of quarterback success?
No. Joe Burrow would look the same as our quarterbacks look if Joe Burrow was currently playing quarterback in Pittsburgh.
Okay. Not while he's injured. I don't know that he would look the same as the quarterbacks, but he would not look like the Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. He wouldn't be anywhere close. You wouldn't even think it was the same player. Could he maybe be better than these guys? Yeah, maybe some, but he's not gonna be a player that you're talking about being one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I just think the way the Steelers have it set up, it's I don't know if some people like Kenny Pickett's not it. Well, he's still the guy that can actually win games for the Steelers. And maybe they're trying to get the system around what would be best for Kenny Pickett for him to not kill us and win the game and things of that nature. And that's just not who Mitch Trubisky is. And that's why he's not having the success. I don't know, but I feel like Kenny Pickett's handcuffed so often. I don't think it really matters who's in there. I just don't think that I don't think that it's JV. The whole offense is JV.
The Steelers need to go out and get a coordinator in the offseason and put in an NFL offense. Just there. That's it. That's all there is to it. Okay. Yeah. They don't have an NFL offense right now. They're not going to have an NFL offense this season. It is what it is. Go out in the offseason and get a coordinator who can put in an NFL offense.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't like talking about this right now. I really don't. I know that we've had people that this has been the topics of their entire show, what they're going to do with coordinator in the offseason. There are 4 games left in this season. Now, do I think the Steelers are going to win enough to make the playoffs? I don't right now. I don't. Could they change my mind completely on Saturday? Absolutely. I'm saying, could they be that team that comes out? They could. I just don't know that they will. I just,
playoffs.
There's just something about the Pittsburgh Steelers that sometimes they just turn it on. Is this a team that could just turn it on? But when you talk about, the offensive coordinator stuff in the offseason, we're going to have so much time to talk about that and break it down. That even though here's something that I've softened on, harkening back to your worthless 2 cents. I've softened on. It's a long off season. I just wish I could watch Steelers football again. I need to enjoy it while I can. Because this has not been enjoyable most of this season. It's been really difficult to watch. I have not wanted to rewatch about any game.
Not rewatch. I haven't wanted to finish watching the games that I'm watching, but it's like I got to sit there to the end and finish the knee-jerk article. And it's just like I want to just go do something else because it would be more productive than sitting here watching this futility of hope. Yeah, the futility of sitting here watching a team hoping they can, come back and win a football game when I know they can't.
Yeah. So I'll ask you this right now. Looking back at it now, if you had to, forced to, right now, Rich, this is what you have to do. You had to pick one game from this season. Regular season. You believe it or not, probably the preseason might be the one game that you had to rewatch right now. What would you pick?
Probably one of the 2 games I was at. Probably Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah, Kyle and I had a good time. And,
yeah.
I wasn't great enough, but yeah, it was all right.
I will go with the Ravens.
Okay. I can see that one too.
If I had to go back and watch one. But even their wins, they're just kind of like, you know, probably one of the more exciting ones was the Browns because of the way the Steelers did it, bookending the game with the defensive touchdowns in order to win.
Yeah, that was pretty fun too to be at the game for that one.
But the problem with that is how not scoring the rest of the offense was. And I'm not someone that just has to watch scoring. I don't. I mean, I was really intrigued by that Minnesota Las Vegas game just to see.
Oh, so was I.
To go to overtime 0-0. I did. But it's just, there's just it's been, some wins by attrition and just hasn't been pretty to actually go back and watch. I mean, if you ask me right now, I would go back and I still even mess up the year. Was it 2050? The catch that saved Christmas, the Immaculate Extension. I could go back and watch that game over and over and over and over again. I don't really have a desire to rewatch. I could go back and watch Ben's final game against the Browns at Heinz Field. I could go back and watch that again. There are some games that I could just think of that I could go back. And that's not what the Steelers do. Wouldn't it be nice to get some games here in these last 4 that you would feel like watching again?
If I want to get excited about the Steelers, I go to YouTube and watch, like Troy Polamalu's top 50 plays.
Yeah.
It's like,
and honestly, for the super chat question that we had before, did we have another one that I missed? I think we might have. Yeah. We did. I got it. I'll bring it up here shortly.
Okay.
But we're still not getting asked about would they have more motivation with Rudolph over Trubisky. Not necessarily about Rudolph, but just talking about Trubisky. Going into the game, do you feel like Mitch Trubisky is going to give you anything that you're going to want to rewatch?
Going into the game, I do not count on Mitch Trubisky to win a game. My thing for him is don't kill us.
Yeah. But I mean, I had fun watching back some of Kenny Pickett's games from last year at the end, like the Christmas Eve game, the Ravens game. There was some good ones there. And I at least thought there was some potential, there was at least some excitement. And of course, you're saying, Kenny Pickett's terrible, we'll have the same trolley type guy coming in to say that again. But he did at least give you, there is something to the moxie of it. That's what Trevor Lawrence was missing this week. He didn't seem to have the moxie that he has at other times. And that's why they kind of laid the egg that they did. So, I mean, it's frustrating that you're like, really? Is it the Steelers system that someone like Mitch Trubisky, Joe Flacco's coming in and not sucking, But he's all right if he throws an interception or two. They'll turn it around and still try to win the game. You throw an interception, Mr. Trubisky throws another interception, you're like, I don't know if they can overcome this.
Yeah.
It's just so tough. Kyle Smith, $5 into the tip jar. Says everyone posts stats about how bad the Steelers quarterbacks have been, but even bad quarterbacks luck into big games. The scheme doesn't even have potential for luck. What do you think of that, Rich?
The scheme leans so little on being on the quarterback having to bring the team to victory. That's what it is. It's designed to, that quarterbacks can't put the team on his shoulders. So if it's not set up to work that way, then you're never going to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could get behind this statement 100%. That the scheme doesn't even have potential for, I mean, it just doesn't seem like, it's almost like the job of the offense is to just be there.
I wish I could
stick around, and maybe we can just throw it on the back at the end and win it. That's not the way to do it.
I'd like to go on the screen here and I could change it to where I could, the So where the scheme has, but the scheme does have the potential for just take the L there at the end and just make that an S, and there you go. That's what it is.
Yeah, that has the potential to suck. So.
And Dave is gone. Miss you, Dave. Well, we are actually nearing the end. I was hoping Dave was getting close to time to wrapping this up. I will hope he pops back in here. We do have to move forward. We do have another game on Saturday, and there comes Dave again. Hi, Dave. We missed you.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm going to try again if I disappear. All I was trying to do was take away the comment, and it kicked me out. So I'm going to see if it does.
Isn't that fun? So,
okay, I worked this.
I was saying that we are actually just, we do have to move on. There is a game this weekend. I've been so down. I'm not even on things. I'm so far. I haven't even paid much attention to what's going on with the Steelers. Other than I know both outside linebackers were in the concussion
they both
protocol,
practiced
but they
today.
both practiced full.
They were
limited. Oh, that's right. It was limited.
They were limited.
That's right.
If you're in the protocol, they're not going to let you come back and practice full. I think because they actually pull you out of certain things to test certain things. I'm not 100% on that. That is just my belief and understanding of that. So I don't know, but you can't move through the protocol if you don't practice. So they were both out there, both practicing. And remember, neither player got put in the protocol on Thursday. Highsmith was ruled out with a neck injury. And he was put in the protocol the next day, as was Watt. And we could get into that whole thing with Watt and the protocol, but I'm just going to stand back. I just wanted to talk more about the problems with the Steelers and if they're going to fix these things. I mean, wouldn't it be great if you just came out and saw a fired up defense, because the defense did not seem to be fired up on Thursday, a fired up defense and an offense that takes chances. I would love to see a game that had 4 turnovers, 2 on each team. But actually, because the Steelers were taking chances and not just playing it so safe on offense, that you couldn't do it. So, all right. Well, Rich, so this week, a lot of this, I know we'll do your score prediction here, but a lot of it's going to depend on the outside linebackers, right?
Yep.
Yeah. The other players that didn't practice today, Tuesday, because remember, this was the first injury report because of the Saturday game. Isaac Seumalo and Landon Roberts and Najee Harris. I think all those were a little bit more precautionary. Even Cam practiced in a limited fashion. Was quoted as saying, "Hey, it was important to be out there. We got to get to work." So,
yeah.
The big question I have, am I going to feel different about the Steelers when we come back next Tuesday? Or am I going, because it's 2 weeks, two is a pattern. Tomlin says it, 2 is a pattern. 2 weeks in a row, we're feeling the same way. That's why you don't have faith going forward. So what do you have to say about this week?
I don't have faith going forward. Just don't. And honestly, it just comes down to me looking at we've got a banged up defense and the offense sucks.
Yeah.
So you ready for the score?
I'm ready for the score.
All right, the score: Colts 21, Steelers 16.
21-16. Okay, well, no one's put theirs out there. Remember, as soon as I put this in here, you bring it up. If you don't say team, we assume it's Steelers. But there, I just put it out there that the scores are here. So, yeah, I just don't know. It just feels when you get this feeling for so long, it's too hard to shake it. It really is. Yeah. So here we go. We've got Gabriel Golden saying 26-20. That would be Steelers. Okay. We got Afton. Afton, she's like you, Rich. Believe it when you see it, right? 12-24 Colts. Thomas Riley, he still believes. He still believes. In the tie. Steelers 13, Colts 13. Thomas Potts has Colts 17-6. Outside Steeler fan says good guys 24-18. Gavin Anthony says 24-17 Colts. Kobe we'll just say Kobe. Colts 27-13. Sean Manahan says Steelers 17, Colts 13, because it's a gotta have it game. Steelers Pittsburgh says 10-10 through overtime. Steel Dog 88 says 20-13 Colts. Brian Brown says 12-10 Steelers. Gary says 24-13 Colts. This is Biggie Bronco, the Broncos fan. He comes in here, says the Colts coming off a loss and y'all coming off back-to-back losses. Pittsburgh 10-3. Okay. Seth Phyllis 9-19 Steelers. Tom Vallejo says Colts 27, Steelers 13. Ruben Stone says 31-13 Steelers. Mitch shows out. It's impossible if this team's going to hit 30 points. It does. It really does. John Walter says Colts 21, Steelers 10. Okay. Alex Mahoney says 14-13 Steelers. Tim J says 21-10 Colts. John Funker says 15-14 Steelers. Bradley Stone, Colts 28, Steelers 13. Tyler W says Steelers 17, Colts 10. Big running game day. That's some things about this game. Is defense. Steelers want to be able to run the ball. Steelers defense with the veterans, if someone's going to come out with more markable improvement, I'm more confident in the defense improving. So I can see the Steelers keeping the score down. So if you can run the ball and keep the score down, you've got a chance. But the thing is, how much longer are we actually going to keep? I know I'm going to get back to the scores, but how much longer are we going to keep coming here and still have to at least mention
Playoffs?
Yeah, that the Steelers are still alive.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
If they drop another one, I think we're done. So the question is, how much longer is that conversation going to keep happening? All right, I got to get back to this. Sorry, I did my little aside there. Okay, Mr. Woodside, Steelers 23-19. 23-19. Wasn't that the Packers score? Is that what it was? Because from Monsters Inc. There was a 23-19 in there because I did that on the post-game show. I think it was the Packers. Okay. Harvey Stone has Steelers 16-14. Kathy Ford says 17-10 Steelers. Rob Fitoff says 30-13 Colts. Jeremiah Yoder says 21-16 Steelers. Kyle Smith says 16-13 Steelers. Says offense will look good though. Sherry Richards, here we go. 19-17 Steelers. John Stevens has 17-15 Colts. Let's see.
All I got right now.
That's for score-wise, but
yes.
And for those, I think so. I was asking because whenever I bring up something on the screen, you see part of my shirt. It's the season. I have to wear these kind of shirts. So I am wearing my son of a nutcracker shirt. So just had to put that out there. Rich, it's not outside of the realm of possibilities to think the Steelers could win this game. It's just they haven't instilled the confidence.
They haven't.
Yeah.
And Dave, I'm going to be relying on you to bring it home.
That's, what? I almost forgot about that. No, I didn't almost forget about it because it is this week, right?
It is this week.
You finally get a break.
I get a break. I will not be able to watch the Steeler game on this Saturday. We have the Western Maryland Classic. We have Nike basketball coming in. We got teams. We got some high school basketball teams from all over the country. I'm hoping that the one player's dad shows up because I'd like to get the chance to say hello to Dwayne Wade. But we'll see. So I got high school and college basketball games called this weekend. 13 games in 3 days.
13 games in 3 days. So yeah.
13 games in 3 days.
And you committed to that a long time ago, and that's where you're like, you wanted to
did.
see that game on Sunday, but it's on Saturday. Mark Tobin's got one in there. He says 17-10 Steelers, guaranteed win. And Jamie Carlo then says 21-17 Colts. Got to throw those that had to throw those out there. So,
yep. So, you can trust me. I'm going to be sitting at the announcer's table with the game on my phone, trying to keep an eye on what's going on. But I am going to have to be announcing games. Any luck, depending on how late the game runs, actually, no, it's probably not, because what's the start time on the game?
4:30. I think so. I think it's
slight chance I could catch the last, I don't know, part of the fourth quarter if games get done on time, but I actually don't expect them to, so I'm probably going to miss the entire game. So Dave is going to hold it down and give me the knee-jerk reaction on things. I appreciate it.
You could, because it's on NFL Network, if you have the NFL Network app and you get NFL Network for your cable provider, you could actually have it on your phone. We'll talk about that. We'll see if I can get you that. But you're like, do I really want to?
I don't think
going, right?
I do not think the people at the game would appreciate me sitting there with my saying effing Mitch Trubisky, and not have my it's like,
yeah. You're cutting in and out a little bit. I think you're hitting your cord. But it's all right. I'm just saying I can see a scenario where the Steelers could win this game. I would think it would have to be lower scoring. If the Colts jump out and score 3 touchdowns, I don't see the Steelers being able to hang with them. But
the Colts hit 20, it's over, because the Steelers can't score 20.
There's something else about it, though. Remember when the Steelers have only won 1 game out of the last 4. They beat the Bengals. And remember how Steelers fans, some of them were complaining that Bengals their defense is terrible and the Steelers could only score 16 points. Well, guess what? Colts only scored 14 on them last week. So it's not like the Colts are they're in the playoffs. I don't have it up to even play it unless you do. They're in that playoff picture as well. But the problem is, they're very similar to the Steelers. I don't know if their fan base knows who they are and how and what they can really expect from them. Maybe not so much as the Steelers, but it's just one of those games. I really don't know what to expect. But I can tell you what you all can expect. You can expect the same Steelers content that we're trying to bring you each and every week coming from Steel Curtain Network. My last minute thoughts, that'll be on Saturday, because I obviously can't do it Sunday because the game's on Saturday. But other than that, I think you're going to have a very similar lineup with everything, except you're going to have a post-game show on Saturday after the game. And then that'll put the Q&A on Sunday rather than on Saturday. Other than that, that should pretty much be very similar for us. Make sure you're checking out steelcurtainnetwork.com. We are pouring our heart and soul into a lot of stuff there. So come on out, take in the content, join in the conversation. Rich, what do you want to say to close us out here tonight?
Hey, I hope this turns out like what Sherry Richards commented on there. I really hope this turns out to a game that I wish I would have been able to sit down and watch. It would make me feel a lot better. But, it's another one of those, win, lose, or draw. Next Tuesday, I'm going to sit here with you and we're going to talk about it no matter how it turns out for the Steelers. We'll break it down. We'll look at things. And, it's not that it's not that I'll ever not be cheering for my Steelers and my black and gold. It's just right now as a fan, I'm a bit on the disappointed side.
Yeah.
But I still get excited for games. You still get ready for them to happen. Even as frustrating as some of the past couple games have been, I'm still going to get excited some for the next one. Can't wait.
Can't wait.